Are you a foodie who loves to cook but hates going to the grocery store? Actually, I try my best not to set foot in the store because it takes so much time to plan out each meal. I get there and of course I overspend. It's super crowded. And can I be honest? After all the trouble of shopping and fighting the crowds, I don't want to have to turn around and check myself out too. So rather than making a weekly trek to the market, I have been a loyal customer of Marley Spoon for years. Marley Spoon sends the recipes of your choice and the fresh, pre portioned ingredients you need to cook them directly to your door so you can enjoy something new and delicious any night of the week. And you don't have to put in the effort of going to the store or planning the meals or overspending like me. With over 18,000 recipes from the Martha Stewart archives to draw from, menus feature carefully tested dishes that range from classic to creative, and the variety, people, is insane. I'm talking French dip burgers, Greek lamb ragu, chili spiced fish tacos, and one of my favorites, the Cajun blackened tilapia with Holy Trinity rice and remoulade. So good. Each week, I just log into the app, choose from over 100 recipes, some of which are customizable, pick my delivery day, and Marley Spoon takes care of the rest. And you even can skip any of the weeks that just don't work for you for whatever reason. And here's the best part. Marley Spoon has been so gracious to offer my listeners up to $235 off their first 5 boxes. Just head on over to marleyspoon.com and enter code Dr. Tiff at checkout to automatically get up to $235 off your first 5 boxes. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. Martha Stewart inspired recipes, pre-portioned ingredients, and I cannot stress this enough, none of the hassle of actually going to the grocery store. What are you waiting for? Just go on over to marleyspoon.com and don't forget to enter code Dr. Tiff at checkout. I'll be sure to also put a link in the show notes so that you can access it there as well. I can't wait for you to try Marley Spoon, and I know you're going to love it just as much as I do. Now let's start the show. My guest today is an accomplished musician, chicken farmer, photographer, professional do-gooder, greeting card curator, and just a good human. Remains to be seen. He's also a best-selling author of the book Dope Life, No Hype, a workbook on gratefulness, which you can pick up right now on Amazon or by clicking the link in the show notes below. Please welcome the new face of gratitude, Mr. Douglas Whatley, to this podcast of
Ah,
Dr. Tiff. Hi.
hooray! Hooray for me! Hooray for me!
Yes, you made
We're here.
it.
We did it.
You,
We did
you,
it.
we did it. We've done it. And actually, this is a bit of deja vu because I'm going to be very transparent with my audience. Doug was ill-equipped the first time we recorded this episode. This episode was supposed to air during last season. It was going to be the last
hmm
episode of the last
Oh
season,
man.
but we had some technical difficulties. The sound was less than stellar. I'll just say that. And I could not put the episode out because I just couldn't get the sound right. So I'm just going to say that episode was fire, though. It was
Oh
fire.
well.
And I really
Well,
hope that you can bring it again today.
I make no promises. I make no promises. I reserve the right to suck at all times. Also, I'm not using a computer that has a crank
Ba
this time.
ba.
So
Say what?
I'm
Oh
not
my
using
God.
I'm not using a computer that has a crank this time. So I think we
Right,
may be able
right.
to get
That's
through it.
helpful. That's
Uh,
helpful. That's
I
helpful.
didn't
You
know. I
you
didn't
you're
know.
not on your Macintosh, you know, from
The
back
big
in the
booty.
day. Yes,
The
yes,
blue
yes.
one. I had the blue one in high school.
Fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think, we did a great job last time, but we're going to recreate the magic and add some new touches, add some new things. The people don't even know what they're missing. So it's going to be a phenomenal episode, I
Yes, I
believe.
was thinner back then too, I think. So I hate
Yeah,
that.
you
I was
are looking a little bloated today. What's
all
going
right, man. You know what? You are truly the
on?
kindest person I know. One thing I
You
like
look
about you is your
great.
kind spirit.
Yeah. You look fantastic, friend. You know you do. Doug was zhuzhing his hair before we started. He's got a fantastic fro today. If you'd
Oh,
like to
thank you.
see the fro and what he was doing to his hair, you can just tune in. This podcast will be up on YouTube, so you'll get the video version version on YouTube, you can see this fantastic human, his great smile, his beautiful gray sweater, and the
Green,
chunky
but
fro.
whatever. I'll take it.
I mean, it looks gray, but whatever, green, gray, olive, whatever your pleasure. Just, pull up to YouTube and view
Pull
this
up.
specimen that we have right here. Let's
Enjoy.
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 It
Take
really
it
is a
in.
visual moment. So you really do need to just pull over, download the podcast on YouTube because
Pull
the
over right
audio
now.
the audio will not do it justice. So I feel like all of my guests, most of my guests anyway, really all of my guests have been these multi hyphenate people. And I just ran down a couple of things that you do. Chicken farmer. I mean, come on. A photographer. I just saw a TikTok with you and that chicken coming out of the house. Now, did the chickens actually get to go in the house?
Well, okay. So when I'm feeding the chickens, sometimes I'll leave the door open, and there are a couple chickens who are I call them my grace chickens because my grace chickens are the ones who I love on the most. You have to pick a couple chickens, really just one, but I picked a couple that you love on
Mm.
like a rooster. I have to become the rooster. So some I have to love on, feed a little bit more, hold, so I create the pecking order in the flock.
Is that what people do?
I don't know what they
Or is
do.
that
That's
just
what I
what you
do.
do?
No, you got to create a
Really
pecking order. Yeah, you got to create the pecking order. Absolutely.
fascinating.
I think it is.
So the chicken comes in the house or you bring the chicken in the house?
No, like if I leave the door open, they'll come in and say hi. And my wife is terrified of them, by the way, but they'll come in and scare her a little bit, and I'll take them outside. Or if I need to, just take care of them if they can't get an egg out and I got to pull it out, something like that.
So
Um,
you delivered eggs?
oh yeah, and then I deliver the egg and then I put it in the skillet.
Let's stop for a second because this was supposed to be about something else. But I
I
need to
know.
know, what is this? So you're basically a doula for chickens,
On occasions,
a
yes,
midwife, if you
I'm a
will.
yes, I am. I am a mid husband for chickens. Yeah. Sometimes they'll get stuck in there and they'll die from that. So if I see that they have an egg that's kind of just stuck in their booty, I'll pick them up, bring them in, get them
Don't
comfortable.
believe it's their booty. So do they? I
Oh,
don't know the anatomy of a chicken. It's
I don't.
they. I mean, I don't. Somebody call in or text me and let me know
I'm
the
gonna keep it.
actual anatomy for what it comes out of. I
Well, let me
mean, does
keep it
the
real
poop
with
come
you.
out of the same space?
I don't know
This is
the
fascinating to me.
anatomy of a woman barely. So the anatomy
Oh,
of chicken,
jeez.
I'd be like labia, flavia, flip flap, dallywag. I don't know what these things are. Just bring it over here. So so I think they come out the same
God
hole,
bless.
but I might be wrong.
Okay, all you know is you stick your hand in and get it out.
Oh, I don't think it's usually like the head of it is like out, or a little bit of it. You know what I mean? So I have
Yes.
to massage it out, lube it up, and get it out there. It's disgusting. It's great though. They're my babies, so I don't mind. You have a child. You know how it is.
I've never, even as a baby,
Never,
thank God, had to go in and get something. I
never
did one
ever.
time though. No, one time I was putting beads on her hair and she did stick a couple beads up her nose and I had to go get in there and get it out. So
Oh no,
okay.
you're supposed to let those stay. That's fashion.
Totally doesn't compare. Um, Cannot believe you are a chicken doula.
Oh yeah,
We got
man.
to add that to the list. We
I
got
would
to
love
add that
to.
to the list.
Yeah, my
You
dream
should lead
actually.
with that. You should
I
lead with
do.
that.
I do lead with chicken farmer in most cases. Like, hey, what do you like? What's on your
No,
resume?
I
Chicken
said
farmer.
chicken
Chicken
doula.
doula. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I will restructure my resume
Please
immediately.
do.
Yeah,
Please do.
yeah. Thank you for your guidance, friend.
You're welcome. All right. Chicken farmer, photographer, musician, author, doula. Like, you're doing it all. And I don't even know how you have time for me today, but thank you. I
Oh,
appreciate it. I've been loving the workbook and I'm feeling like this is it's the right time. This has been out for a minute, but I'm trying to get
Hmm.
it in the frame so that people can see it, see how beautiful it is, and know what they're looking for when they go onto Amazon. It's all this season of Intimate Details with Dr. Tiff really is all about relationship enhancement and intentional self care. And that
Mm.
could be why. Here's the thing, Doug, the blessing the blessing of the previous recording not working, it could be that we are just so in alignment right now with this book, because I'm feeling like gratitude is the way to tackle both of those things: relationship enhancement and intentional self-care. What do you think?
Oh, so I always say that God never gives me what I want when I want it. He gives me what I want when it's best. And that's been the
Yeah.
story of my life. And so, because of that, I have to be very deliberate in being grateful and trusting of where He's guiding me and where He's taking me. But I think that starts with saying, where am I now? And
Mm-hmm.
how am I blessed? And I think that's what the book is all about. It's looking at where you are. It's not comparing yourself to those around you, which I have a problem doing sometimes. But
Yeah,
it's
we
looking
all
at,
do, I think.
yeah, and I think the first line of the book is comparison is the thief of all joy, and I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I think that's where many of us stand. We have social media, we have everybody's balling for some reason. Everybody's balling, and I'm like, how y'all do it? Show me the way, because I don't get it. But being able to look at
Yeah.
around you and say, God, you blessed me with this. I'm so grateful for this. I'm grateful for relationships. I'm grateful for friendship. It could all be worse. It's the first step in starting
Mm-hmm.
a new life. It's the first step in walking in your destiny. Um, not 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 being stagnant, looking
Yeah.
for what's next, but also, but more than anything, being grateful for where you are. Because some people didn't make it to where you are right now. Whether you're at McDonald's,
Absolutely.
whether you work at Dollar Tree, whether you're washing cars, whether you're a millionaire, some people didn't make it to there. And some people that are there are not happy. Millionaires aren't happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, plenty.
Yeah, yeah. Even though I want to be one, I want to be unhappy with y'all. Let me
Exactly.
join the team.
Let me be unhappy with my millions of dollars.
That's rub hands, rub hands, rub hands, rub hands.
Yes,
So yeah,
absolutely. World domination. Here we go.
it's a good time.
Yeah, I'm feeling, you mentioned a quote in the book. I flagged a couple of things. That's what this little tab is. There's a couple of things in here um that really struck me, some of the quotes that you use. And you use some, beautiful humans to quote in this book, a couple of which I know and we know. One thing I want to read one of them now, and I'm gonna read one of them later. This quote is by your friend Skyford Highland, Atlantan philosopher, artist, DBSC member. Don't know what that is. And vertically blessed key holder. Yes.
Yeah,
Skyford, does
he's a
Skyford identify
he,
as female?
he's he's a man
Male.
to
Male
to,
identified
to my
female.
knowledge. To my
Okay,
knowledge.
great. So Skyford says fear is imagination rooted in ego, creativity's
Mm.
destructive side. Fear is imagination rooted in ego, creativity's destructive side. And you put this quote in the book. Why?
Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take a step. I love to say.
Please
I
do.
want to. I want to take a step back though. When I started making the workbook, I wanted to take quotes from famous people initially. I was like, hey, workbook, I want to give everybody something to look at each day. And then I started listening to people around me. And I realized
Hmm.
that the people around me have as much wisdom as people who are famous.
Of note,
More
yes,
more
yes,
more so. And just because you're famous doesn't mean that you have insight that we don't have. It just means your path
right,
led you a different way. And so when I started
right.
listening to my friends and my family, I wanted their voices to be heard. I wanted to give them an opportunity for the world to see or hear their perspective on life. I think that's important to give voices to the people around us. I think something
Yeah.
Issa Rae said that we try to go up and we're not looking to go linear to move forward. And I'm
Hmm.
always trying to move linearly with my friends to move forward because I think that success is not fun without your homies, right? I think Kevin Hart said something like
Right.
that. But so you that quote, oh my God, I think it's such a powerful quote.
It is. It is. I had to. That's why I read it twice. I'm gonna read it again. Fear is imagination rooted in ego. Fear is
Yeah,
imagination
yeah.
Rooted in
Rooted in
ego,
ego.
creativity's destructive side. Crazy. Like it's crazy deep. And I read that and I had to stop because I was like, shit.
Yes, me too. And I liken that phrase, I liken that quote to Nike, and that's just do it.
Mhm,
Just do it.
mhm, mhm,
I think we spend a
mhm.
lot of time with paralysis by analysis. We're
Yes.
who's going to accept it? Who's going to think it's stupid? Who's going to support it? And I'm like, just do it. Just throw it out there in the
Stop
universe.
overthinking.
Stop
Yeah.
overthinking. And 40 years from now, whether it's million seller or everybody sees it or five people see it, you have something to look
Mhm,
back over your life and say, I did a thing. And when
mhm.
as we get older, all we have is memories. All we have is memories of what we did and experiences.
Right.
Everything else fades away. So yeah, I think it's just leaning in on the just do it spirit. And I think that's
Yeah.
funny you bring that up. That's what this season is really about.
Yeah. It is. It is. And, setting great intentions for the beginning of the
Mm-hmm.
year. I'm feeling like we often walk through this lifetime just calling out all of the things that we don't have or the things that we feel like we're missing out on and not really acknowledging the blessings along the way or even the fact that we are where we are in this moment is a
Yeah.
blessing. I talked to you, talked earlier about the fact that, damn it, we recorded this podcast earlier and it didn't work, and just frantic about the audio and all of those kind of things. But like, look at us right now. Like, it's been 4 months. We're able to jump back on, record a killer episode. Hopefully, hopefully it works. I'm looking at the feed on the side, and it's like mine is 99% uploaded and yours is
My
65%.
65.
It was a glitch while you were talking. And so I'm like, oh God, we're going to have to do this again. I'm not doing it again, by the way. The people will get what we give them.
What we
Okay,
serve them.
today.
Hey, they
Yeah,
will get
yeah, yeah,
what you
yeah.
serve. And you will eat it and you will
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
it and it will help
You will
you and
eat it
bless
and
you.
you will like it. You'll eat it and like it.
Hey,
Um,
is that what you say to your husband?
yeah.
I'm sorry. I had to do it. I'm sorry.
He eats whatever I put in front of him. Know that.
That's not even. Do people know you're funny? Do people actually know you're hilarious?
I really believe that I am not funny,
Oh, you're so
although
funny.
my goal in life is always to make my husband laugh. Like if I can make it, because I feel like he's super funny. Um, but and it's like he pats me on my head all the time. Oh, that's cute.
Hey, little
But when I
fella.
can really, yeah, exactly. But when I can like make him really chuckle, like I feel like I've done the Lord's work.
You know what? I say the
I do.
same thing about my wife, but my wife makes me laugh. I'm like, you're a winner, and that's why I married you,
Yeah.
because nobody knows she's hilarious. But when she's talking to me, like
Yeah.
she's very shy, but when she's talking to me,
Yeah.
she's like dark humor, just inappropriate. And I'm like, oh, I love you so much.
I've never seen her as
You've never seen?
inappropriate,
Oh,
and
oh,
I
and you
would
shouldn't.
no, I like not. Yeah, I know. I would love that side of her though.
Hang around her for
Oh,
like 15 minutes. Let her
how is
start
she?
talking.
How is she when she has a little juice? Is she really? Is he wildly inappropriate?
Now, if it's me and her,
She's
yes. If anybody
okay.
else around, you gotta
Yeah,
ease her
she's still holding it
into
back.
yeah. She's
Okay.
super self conscious sometimes about like letting herself go in front of people, and I think that's why she loves me. We're polar opposites. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let it
You
happen.
don't.
I don't,
You don't.
because you know
Yeah.
why? Because fear. Read that quote again. Because fear.
Because fear is the devil. Is imagination rooted in ego?
There you go. And you know
Fear is imagination.
that's our most dangerous
Hmm.
thing, our ego. I think as I get older, I'm trying very hard to
Hmm.
set my ego aside. And I'm trying, and setting
Hmm.
your ego aside is very, very, very hard because we live in an ego driven society.
Hmm.
And it's about what
Hmm.
I can get, how fast can I get, how much can I get, and let me get the hell out of here. As opposed to
Right.
what can
Right.
I build and who can I
How
grow
can I
with?
be of service?
Yes, yes.
Because I think, it's interesting that you bring that up, Doug, because I think we don't recognize that the gifts, the blessings, everything that's gifted to us by our creator and or
Mhm.
our higher power, the universe, the things that we have, the reason why we are purposed to be here is not about us at all. It's about what we're supposed to do with that gift to build up the lives of others. It's not about
Absolutely.
us.
I'll say
Our
this.
gifts are not about us.
When I met you when I worked at a church,
Yes.
and before that, I had not been working at a church. I had played the piano and I had been a minister of music at churches for years. And it wasn't until a friend, Victor Jackson, said, "Hey, there's a job over here that I think you'd be great for." But I wasn't using my gift before that, right?
Mm,
And through
mm-hmm.
that gift, came there and I started working with the youth. And through that, I found that I love serving the youth. I
Mm-hmm.
like pulling their
Yeah.
gifts out. I like helping them think on a higher level. I like to help them be analytical. I like helping them explore. And through that, I was able to build a company based on my gifts, right? And
Mm,
so
mm-hmm.
for the last 5 years, I've had Sparks United, in which we serve over 500 kids 5 days a week, soft skills through the arts. But it was me tapping into my gifts and how could I serve
Yeah.
others. And
Yes.
until I started serving others, I couldn't find success. Until I started giving myself to others, I have produced songs that have been number ones. I've written songs that have been number ones, but I could not get what I needed in life until I started serving others, until I started being a blessing to other people. It's very
Right.
reminiscent of the Job story. Everything went wrong until he said, "Let me pray
Mm,
for my homies." And when he took himself out the equation and started praying for others,
mm.
God's like, "About time, my nigga, I got you." And I think, right? And I think that's where we are in many ways. God is saying, God is waiting for us to do what He created us to do, so He can say, "About time, my nigga, I got you." So
Right.
I'm assuming that's how God talks. I don't. For my Bible, I got the ATL standard version. So yeah,
I really, really hope that that becomes published.
you know,
Every-
that's what you know. Let's put that
I
out.
feel like there's a market for that. I feel like you could do Bible stories, a Bible stories book, ATL edition. You could probably do like a whole bunch of editions of that book. Oh my God.
God, that would be brilliant. We just tapped into something. I should write that down. Actually, don't worry.
Yeah, you should write that down.
I gotta do that too. So I got
It
now. I
sounds
gotta
about
put it out there.
yeah. Yeah, I think you should. You got to put it out. This yeah, you got to put it out before
But it's
this
gonna be
episode airs.
sacrilegious. I'm gonna be like hated by the Christian
No, it's
world.
not. It's just you giving it's you have the King James version, you have the New International
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
Now we have the ATL version.
Now the ATL whole version. Yeah. Hey
But see,
man,
nobody said anything about a hoe.
you gotta add the ATL whole edition.
As in HEAUX or like HO.
As in HAUX.
All right. We've
Yeah,
gotten
let's
off
keep it moving.
task.
Yeah, oh my god, we do this every time. We do this. We go everywhere, but what we're supposed to
I
do.
know.
I
I know,
love
but
it.
we bring it back. We bring it back. We
All
bring it
right,
back.
let's go.
Have you always been this person, this gratitude guy, the one that kind of puts things into perspective, finding the good in others and in life?
I don't think I have. I think not until my 30s did I realize how blessed I was.
Mm-hmm.
I think before then I spent a lot of my life. I've always been kind of positive, but I didn't understand that God is
Mm-hmm.
blessing. God is using me every day to work through and for me, for His kingdom and
Mm-hmm.
for His people. And when I started, I always say that when I lean in on that, that's when I was able to realize, oh, wait a minute, you're supplying my
Yeah.
needs all the time. You're opening doors for me,
Yeah.
and you're doing it without me even noticing it. You know what I mean? I'm asking for this, and
Yeah.
you're giving me
Yeah.
this that leads to this, that gets me to there, that gets me to there. And so I think it was a process.
Right.
I think it's a process of learning, a process of maturing, and process of gratefulness. Like gratefulness is a process that we must walk through, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
hard process
Mm-hmm.
to realize sometimes. But it's
Especially when you look at things that you're not happy that
yeah,
happened in your life. You might not be happy to have grown up in an abusive household. You might not be grateful for a parent or a loved one passing
mhm.
away. You might not be grateful for that grade you got in English class that was a last grade that you needed in order to graduate or whatever. Like there's a lot. I mean, I'm not speaking personally or anything, but there's a
Who told
lot.
you? I failed English. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean there's it it is a process. Gratitude, being grateful, gratitude, finding gratitude is certainly a process, and it's a learned skill. It's a habit that
It's a
we
habit.
have to continue to work on in order to be more mindful of the blessings
Hmm.
that are in front of us and the gratefulness that we can have, that we can be grateful for some things. And there's even, we spoke with Tiffany Nunley, I want to say, who I think a couple weeks prior, and we talked about similar to this. Like, there are certain things that we go through in our lives, and while they stink, they absolutely
Hmm.
suck.
Absolutely.
Um, Other things come to us based on those sucky things happening. And so sometimes, even though those things, and I think that whole phrase, Joel Osteen says it all the time: beauty for ashes, God will give you and restore,
Mm,
those things tenfold
uh-huh.
that you miss, give you beauty for ashes. That there are things that, we grieve, that we lose, that we are angry about, pissed off about, that happen in our lives. But sometimes that is a setup to strengthen you, to grow you in a way that you wouldn't have grown had you not lost that,
Oh man.
or not accomplished that, or whatever. And so that you can experience the gratitude on the other
Right. And I said that I think my early 30s was all about that. My early 30s was seeing who I was, being a brat, and then God saying,
side.
"Hey, I got to grow you." So only way I'm going to
Yeah.
grow you is by destroying you. And I think the other
I
piece is
mean,
it sucks, right?
is that not crazy?
No, it
The
makes you
only
hate
way
God
I'm going to
sometimes.
grow you is to to completely destroy all these things that you work for or that you thought I gave you. I like, who does that?
I grew up in, and here's the other thing. I grew up in church, right? And I always
Mhm.
got prophecies. You're going to be this. You're going to be that. You're going to be this. And so I went through through my 20s thinking, any day now, it's about to pop off. Any day, it's going to go. It's about to blow. And realizing that our timing isn't God's timing, realizing that if I'm working on seeing the blessings around me every day, I ain't got time to worry
Mhm.
about what I don't have. If I'm actively
Yeah.
looking for what God is doing in our life, if
Yeah.
I'm actively looking for how great my life is, then I'm not going to focus in on I'm going to be ambitious. I'm going to move forward, but I'm not going to think
Right,
about
right.
lack as much. Yeah. And in
Right.
reality, we don't need much to have a good life. You really don't need much.
Right.
We live in
Right.
America. We want much. Yeah,
I
fix
know
some
that's
eyes.
right.
Get there, wipe them eyes off. Yeah.
Girl,
I'm a guy, but that's
leave
okay.
me
You
alone,
can
Doug. Yeah.
you can call me that if you like. I'll let it slide
I
today.
know. I say that to my husband all the time. Like, girl, please.
And then he
It's
balls
just
his fist up, right, to knock you out.
yeah. He wish. He wish he would. I wish. I wish.
Give
He
it time.
would. Give it time, but not. It's interesting. Intention, setting intentions, manifestations. They're two very I like to call them sexy words. I feel like people use those two words. They use mindfulness a lot too.
Hmm.
Setting intention, manifestation, being mindful. Sexy words right now. And we've been I feel like in this conversation, of course, we've been talking about those. And I have a free resource. I'm gonna put a link below, which I will link down below, but it's all about learning how to set intentions and
Sounds
how
good.
to set killer intentions that really do help you manifest the day, the relationship, the whatever you want. And so I do believe in calling things in
Hmm.
to your orbit. But do you feel like where we are individually is kind of representative of what we put out into the world? Like, do you feel like if I'm not having a good day, is it because perhaps I woke up and said today's gonna suck? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I feel like your reality is what you make it. And that's why I'm probably so pleasant because I'm so doggone delusional. But your reality is what you make it. So if you want to be upset, you're going to be upset. If you want to be driven by your
Yeah.
emotions, which is so dangerous, but if you want to be driven by your emotions, you will be driven by your emotions, and you will go in circles for the rest of your life, following those emotions. My mom always says that you should always welcome your emotions in, and you should always say goodbye. Good to see you. Had fun with you. Now goodbye.
Wow.
Let me get back to life. I think another thing about intention and affirmation, I mean, intention, affirmations, and manifestation is it's
Mhm.
prayer. It's prayer in a different form.
Mhm.
One thing about the book I
Yeah.
love about Dope Life No Hype is that I'm forcing you to make affirmations in your life. I'm forcing you to speak about those things that you don't usually speak about in your life. I'm forcing
Yeah.
you to look around and say, "Wow, I'm so blessed." Whether you want to or
Yeah.
not, you can't help it. And if we're able to look around and see where we are, but also able to speak where we are, able to speak where we're going, I think it's empowering. And I think it's just prayer. It's
Mhm.
That's all that it is. It's speaking
Mhm.
for. And the thing about sound is that sound doesn't go like this. Sound expands, and so by the
Yes.
time it gets to the heavens, it's gigantic. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So whatever you're
Mhm.
speaking, it's whatever you're really calling in on you. So today sucks. Well, guess what? It's gonna suck. Nah, today's
Yeah.
great. It's gonna be great there, no matter what.
It's going to be great. It's going to be
Yeah.
great because I think that, when we set that intention,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean that negative things won't happen.
Mm-hmm.
It just means that we will be better able and to put those things into perspective
Right.
and understand that this too shall pass. I'm not going to let it, and it won't inhibit me from having the best day ever if that's what I
Yeah.
intend to do.
No matter what, Tom Hanks. No
No
matter
matter
what.
what.
No matter what's
No
happening,
matter what.
this too
Yeah.
shall pass. Good, bad, indifferent.
This too,
It's
yep.
not bad.
No matter what.
And like I said before, all we have as we grow older in life are memories
Yeah.
and experiences. So you can hold on
Mhm.
to the bad, you can hold on to the good. I'm looking for the
Yeah.
good. You know what I
Ugh.
mean?
From your mouth to God's ears. I hope we can all do that a little bit better. I want to read one more quote, and this one is from our friend Victor Jackson.
All right.
He's a friend of the podcast too, ladies and gentlemen. He
Everybody
did
loves Victor
episode. I
Johnson.
want to say everybody loves Victor Jackson, Mister at Glam Rock Soul, Miss at Mister Glam Rock Soul. That is.
Uh-huh.
Victor said, "Nobody's perfect, not even you, but everyone's special, and that means you too."
Very Dr. Seuss and beautiful, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? I didn't pick up on that the first time I read it, but yeah, and he is you've coined him the eternal multi hyphenate, and I have to agree with that.
Well, let me say this.
He's always doing something.
Everyone's moniker at the bottom, they gave it themselves.
Did
So
they?
I asked her, I said, tell me who you are in a few
Because there
words.
was one in here and it sounded so much like you, and I was like, "Oh, hold on." There was one in here that I was like, "Douglas, why did you put this on this person?" Okay, so this was trust God, trust what He put in you. You are your best compass. This was Priscilla Tennant.
Oh, that's a good one.
Uh,
I love Priscilla.
Yeah, it is a good one. Listen, singer, speaker, writer, eater, helper, and twerker on blessed occasions. Love that for her.
Oh,
I
man.
felt like you wrote that, but she wrote that herself.
She wrote it
Twerker
herself.
on blessed occasions. I am Priscilla Tennant.
Yeah.
I guess that's on the Instagram. Follow her for
Please follow her.
blessed twerks.
She may twerk something. I haven't seen
Ble-
her twerk online, but you never know. You never
you
know.
never know. It might be in the stories, so you might be missing it. That's where
Uh,
that's where it all lives, is in the
I
stories.
might not be
Now
her close
listen,
friends either.
Maybe
But yeah, go ahead. Go
not.
ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So let's talk about the book because I love it. Obviously, got it right here. What brought you the idea? What brought you to write this workbook? Because it is a phenomenal workbook. What I want people to know though is like this is a workbook. You're gonna work.
Gotta work.
Okay. A workbook, and that is so true. So, what brought the idea of working this workbook, Dope Life No Hype?
Um, well, what's funny is I wrote this in I want to say 18
2018.
2018, yeah, and it wasn't I don't think I released it until 20, maybe 21. um but what brought me to I man, I just started realizing that nobody was satisfied. Everybody was miserable. Everybody's
Yeah,
looking for something, and I'm like, it's right there.
something outward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's in you. You got it. You got the
yeah,
sauce. You're already
yeah,
equipped for it all. You might have to hone the craft. You might have to dig in a little
yeah.
deeper. You got it. Just make it great. And if you ain't great, still do it till you get great. Um, Love on who you
That
got.
is such a growth thing, though, Doug. Like we are not. A lot of us aren't there. it takes some years. You know how people say, if something hadn't happened, well, I've never done X, Y, and Z, or I have never been sick, or I've never keep living. Some of us, some of us just don't haven't gotten to the point where we can reconcile that. It's we don't need these things. That's not important. This is not what life is about. What our family, our loved one, like a lot of us just aren't there. And so how do we get there? And I guess getting there is through doing the work, right?
It's doing the work. It's I think a lot of people were talking about shadow work a few years ago. Um,
Hmm.
I never understood what that really
What
meant.
is that? I've never heard
I
that.
never understood what that really meant. But I think that's internal work. And it's doing
Oh,
the internal work. It's really
okay.
looking at yourself daily, and it's looking at not only yourself but how you treat others, how you respond. How do you respond when things are going your way? How do you respond when things aren't going your way? How do you love on the
Hmm.
people around you? How do you love on yourself?
Hmm.
How do you make yourself feel appreciated? And what can you do for you that don't require nobody else? Like what how
Hmm.
do you make you happy without nobody being involved? One thing me and my wife always
Hmm.
say that we're blessed. We're blessed at a high level. We have a nice size home. But we also know that we can live in a tiny home and be just as happy. We can live in a one bedroom
Hmm.
house or apartment and be like, we did it. Because we don't need
Hmm.
because the stuff ain't important. It's the company,
Hmm.
it's the life you decide to live. And
Yeah.
remembering that we're only going to be on earth one time. Got to make it count one time. So if you ain't did it, do it. If they get mad because you did it,
Yeah.
who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
My wife likes to sing sometimes, and she's very self conscious about that. And I let her
Hmm.
hear a something that Ed Sheeran, one of my favorite artists, Ed Sheeran. I let her hear one of his
Hmm.
voice recordings of him singing, and it was horrible. And he said it was horrible, and I had to remind her that you got to work at it. He
Yeah.
didn't start at the top. He had to get better. He had to grow into it.
Let me find out Meech can sing. Let me tell you something. If I could sing, that is the one thing that I feel like God just said, no, I'm not giving you that gift.
Oh, me too.
Because you would know it.
It.
You would be so arrogant. And like I feel like he would not, because I would never shut up. If I could sing, oh my God.
Oh man, if
And I
I
sing under my breath. Like I'll just, pop out a little something, but oh my gosh, I
I'm
wish I
I'm
could.
always singing. I can't sing at all. I'm always singing around. Like I'll make up a song about anything. But if I could sing, oh my gosh, you wouldn't even know
I
me. You
mean,
wouldn't know me. I'll have 15
no,
kids
no.
already. I already know it. I'll sing my way out of child support. You know what I mean? I'm
Which is
sorry.
why he did not give us that gift, because he already knew like it would be over.
Hey,
It'd be a wrap.
and here's the thing.
It would be a wrap.
My default setting is evil. So, I think that's another thing too. I'm purposely my default setting. Here's a transparent moment: is negativity, and it's like, how do I destroy the world? Let it burn. And
Yeah,
when I
very
watch
much
movies,
Pinky in the Brain. Yes.
yeah, when I watch movies, I'm like, man, why they kill that villain?
Yeah.
I was happy Thanos snapped. I was like, let him live, leave him alone. He makes sense. And I realized that that doesn't produce good fruit all the time.
Nah, nah, bruh.
It
Nah.
does not. So
Mm-mm.
it's me making, again, like the book, making decisions to do
Yeah.
what is going to produce good fruit. And once you do it long enough, it becomes habit.
Yeah.
And once it becomes
Yeah.
habit, you crave it. And once you crave it, you become greedy for it. And once you become greedy for it, you want it every day. And you want it every hour. And you want it every second. And you want it every millisecond. You want it as much as you
Yeah.
can get it. And that's the problem I've had, is that that's what my life has turned into. I want it. And I want
Yeah.
you to have it too. I want you to see that we're blessed. Because if you know you're
Yeah.
blessed, and I know you're blessed, and I know I'm blessed, and you know I'm blessed, we're gonna have a good time in every
We're gonna have
situation.
a great time. And we're
Every
gonna
situation.
accomplish so much
I'm trying to tell
just
you.
by owning our greatness. Yeah, I
That's
um
good.
I had posted something earlier about I had posted something earlier about like realizing that like perhaps I've devalued myself. Perhaps I've been I've been doing too much and not really owning the greatness that other people see in me.
Mm.
Just because I'm thinking about what I haven't accomplished or what I wasn't able to do or what I should have said in whatever interview. And it's so over. Like 2024, we're not doing that anymore. We got to own it and be grateful for where we are, the spaces that we take up, and just own that. whatever is said, whatever is done, whatever is accomplished in those spaces is huge, it's monumental. And we have to be grateful for just having that time to be in that space and in those moments.
I
Yes.
talk about my wife so much. I happen to love her, believe it or not. Um,
I should hope you
Crazy,
do.
right? Um,
You're a lucky
but my
man.
wife is super accomplished, super credentialed, has
Mhm.
done everything, and she never walks in like that. And I've done a few things. I've been blessed,
Mhm.
but I always tell her when I walk in a room, you got to walk in like the house is on fire, and you're the only person who knows what to do with that type. You know what I mean?
You
Like,
do you do walk in like that. You
oh
do.
yeah,
You absolutely do.
yeah, that's the best way to
I
do it.
think you BS your way through a lot of
I
things,
don't be
letting people feel like you know things and you're
no,
just figuring it out
no.
on the
I
fly.
am
And it's fine.
I am the
I
expert
love
in
it.
all things. Thank you very much.
Okay. Fantastic.
No, but yeah,
Fabulous.
I think as we walk in our greatness,
Mhm.
even when others don't see it, it's the most empowering thing. Because if you, and here's the other thing, and this is just my opinion,
Yeah.
everybody else is a figment of our imagination anyway. So, like, we're
Mm.
only imagining all this stuff. This is all perception, right? Everything we do is perception. And if you perceive yourself to be great, then you're great. If you perceive yourself to be
Mhm.
that dude or that woman, you're that dude and that woman. And the more you perceive yourself to be that, the more people will say,
The more you are.
He's that. He's
Yeah.
that." They can't take away from you. They can't take what you think
Yeah.
about you away from you ever.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And we can't allow that to happen. I think this is a year of not allowing that to happen.
Not allowing it to happen.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I love that idea because since we're and especially, and this is another reason why this book is so on time for where we are. It is the beginning of the year, beginning of a new year, and I feel like it's the perfect practice
Hmm.
for those who are looking to set killer intentions, looking to set great goals, doing vision boards and all of those things that they just want to have a set out to have the best year ever. The thing that I really like, I love this book so much, but like one thing that I do love about it, this book and it's a couple of other books that I have. I love workbooks because they tend to be kind of a consistent practice. And part of the idea of this book is that let's come to it every day. It needs to be a habit that we work
Right.
on every single day. Why I know why it's important to me, but like why is that important to you, and why is that the way that this workbook is written?
Well, um, again, like I said before, you don't get good at anything until you do it all the time.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah,
do it all the time. The book is designed for every day. Is for 30 days of working through it, working through the idea of gratefulness. But every day there's a different theme that we're really looking at. So I think one day
mm-hmm.
is your self care. Another day is where do you want to be. Another day is what have you done. Where are you now? How do you feel loved? It's focusing on different aspects of these ideas because if you tap into it every day, it's easier to see. If you paint every day, it's
Mm-hmm.
easier to be detailed about things because
Right.
you're getting better at it. And I want to make you
Yeah.
detailed in your greatness and gratitude. I want you to see the details of life differently and change that perspective so that pivot a little bit so that you can see
Yeah.
how God is blessing you and how you're blessing the world, whether you know it or not.
Yeah. I love that. Well, Doug, I really and truly can't thank you enough. For all of the words of wisdom we've learned about chickens breaching eggs and you having to go in with your bare godly hands and pulling them out. We've learned that my husband will eat whatever I put in front of him.
Me too.
But
Not what you put in front of me, my
not.
wife.
Thank you.
Ah,
Thank you. Clear that shit up.
ugh.
Okay, right now.
Look at the
Don't get in trouble.
time. We got to get out. Well, I do want to do a shameless plug before we get ready to
Please
go.
do as many and that you don't be ashamed. Don't be
Oh,
ashamed.
well,
Plug it.
I'm shameless. At the top of February, I'm starting a podcast
Yes.
called Grow Fam, and it's
Exactly.
going to be very simple.
Yes.
I want to charge up your week with prayer. It'll be every Monday. It'll be 30 seconds of prayer. Just get your week started right, and you ain't got to do nothing. Just listen while you're on your way to work, and just help
Yeah.
somebody. Push it to somebody who needs it.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of people around me. One thing I found to be true is that
Hmm.
my friends who go to church never want to help me with ministry, but my friends who don't go to church always want to help with ministry. But they so
Why is that?
well, I think church people are so busy doing church stuff that they forget ministry is important. You know what I mean? I think when we go to church all the time, we're
Mm-hmm.
thinking about what we can get. We go to church to receive. And I think the
Ah.
rest of the world is looking for you, the people who are always receiving, to pour into them. And
Mm.
I think last year, was it last year, year before maybe, I did a series of events called Hugs and Mugs. And I
I
asked,
remember that.
yeah, and I will probably do it again this year. I asked a lot of my Christian friends to show up. None of them did, but maybe
Mm.
two. But my friends who don't go to church, smoke, drink, whatever, they're like, let's go pray for some people. Let's go love on some people. Let's go help some people. So the
Wow.
podcast is designed
Wow.
for people who don't go to church. If you love God but don't want to be in the church setting anymore, that's cool. Rock with me.
Mm.
If you don't like the pastor dancing in
Mm.
your video, you know what I'm saying? Come on over to Death Row Records. If you don't, if you don't want your pastor having no scandal, come on over to Death Row Records, baby. But look out for that, guys. It's called Grow Fam. It should be on all platforms at the top of February. Um,
I think you sent me a snippet of that a few months ago,
yeah.
and I really did love it. I'm so excited for it, and we'll definitely put a link to that in the show notes so that people won't even have to search far
Hey.
for it. Just know that it's going to be down there along with Doug's Instagram handles and anything else that he wants you to
Yes.
know. And of course, a link to Dope Life, Hype. We're going to put all of that in the show notes so that you can keep up with this awkwardly charming
Charming.
human.
Oh, thank you. I do what I can. Hey, and here's the other thing. You follow me, I'll follow back.
Yes.
I'll be your Insta disciple
Ooh.
if you become mine.
Oh, it's a wild ride, ladies and gentlemen. Follow at your own
Oh
risk.
man, enjoy the ride though.
Follow at your own risk. Yeah, there's great stuff. You're putting out some great content too.
Oh, thank you.
I've been loving the TikToks and the things that you've been doing. And I think it's so on brand and so perfect for where you're going, where you're growing. And I just can't wait to continue to follow that and follow you and see how God continues to bless you.
Oh, thank you,
Because I know when
friend.
he blesses you, he blesses all of
He
us
blesses all of us.
because you're not selfish. You're not selfish with it and you give, give.
You
So
know,
I
I
appreciate
want
that
to say
about you,
that
friend.
living, and my phone is probably going to, you're probably going to have to hang up on me soon.
Of course.
Yes, but my phone is going dead. But
As I was gonna do anyway,
oh, well,
I was gonna
perfect.
hang up on you pretty soon.
That's
It's
good.
coming.
It's good to know.
It's
I want to
coming.
say that I encourage everyone this year not only to look at your life and really run towards those things that you love, but also help somebody along the way. If you got access
Mm,
and that person saying, "Hey, I just want to learn," let them learn. Like, ain't nobody trying to keep hold you down by them coming up.
right,
They're trying to work with you.
right,
And I want
right.
and the last thing I'm gonna say is to you is that I love you and thank you for being so encouraging and thank you for being amazing and you always pull me in and you always push me and you always just show up and show out every time and you're somebody who I aspire to be
Oh,
like. Really, you are.
please don't. Like,
I do what I
listen, I
can.
love you down, and I really do appreciate and expect respect all of the gifts that you bring to the table too. Like, you are such a creative human, such a great human, funny, witty, weird. But I appreciate I appreciate it all. I love it. It just makes you well
Oh,
rounded,
thank
friend.
you, thank you, thank you.
I appreciate. Yes, no, I appreciate it all, and I enjoy. I literally like totally enjoy being in your presence. And there's no
Oh,
time that I've ever been in your presence where I didn't smile, where I didn't have a good time, where I didn't feel. I never feel in your presence like I'm wasting my time.
oh, you know what's funny?
Never.
I feel the same about you. There's never a time I haven't had a
You feel
great
like I
time.
waste your time.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. Uh,
yeah. And you always cut out in the middle of a sentence like I don't even know what you're saying right now because your feed cut out again. I don't know if this episode is actually going to air. I really don't. I don't know if it's going to air because Douglas can't get his audio video together. So we're going to put up what we can put up. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. I'm going to just tidy this thing right on up. Just thank you guys for listening, for joining. us today. It's a beautiful community we're building over here. If you'd love to keep the party going, there are a few things that you can do. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the podcast. That's a start. This episode will be available for viewing as well on YouTube. We said that earlier. So my YouTube channel is at Dr. Tiffany TV. You can look for that on YouTube and you'll get to see me. Hopefully you'll get to see Doug. It just depends on how this all goes today, honey. I don't know. But you can also see all of my guests on YouTube. We can put we'll put a link for that YouTube channel also in the bottom of the show notes. You can also just pull up on the blog. Pull up on the blog. I'll be putting links to all of those things and more in the show notes today. So I want you to check it out here. Ladies and gentlemen, Douglas Whatley. This is the human. This is the
This is
human
the
that you
human that
have.
you have.
And
I
I
believe,
believe
I don't know
I
what's
don't know
going
what's
on,
going on,
Douglas.
Douglas.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
What I'm going
What
to
I'm
do
gonna
is
do
tell
is
the
tell the
people
people
goodbye.
goodbye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Okay?
Okay,
Douglas, you don't
Douglas, you
hang
don't
up,
hang up,
okay? Because
okay?
you're in
Because you're in
trouble.
trouble.
I'll see you
I'll
guys
see you
next
guys
week.
next week.